बंद कर दो.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our conversation, the second session that we are having on the series called Truth Be Told. Of course, I will reveal a lot more to you thanks to the master we will be speaking to today. But before that, would I get a little glimpse of what are you here for? Could you put your responses in the chat box so that we are setting some context about what is the intention you're coming with? What are you here for?
चॉकलेट खानी है. चॉकलेट खा सकते.
Okay, so Vinay says learning new things, fabulous. I see that streak in you, Vinay. I think I saw that even earlier before. Fantastic. I respect that a lot. Beautiful. Oh, Amit. Okay, so Amit is saying curiosity. Pardon me. I thought Amit responded learning new things. Okay, got it. Got you, Amit. Always saw you curious. Got it. Geeta says curious to know about Bach and also interested to attend your sessions. Geeta, I am so grateful. It is absolutely amazing to have you come in for whether we're doing an impact communication session or we're doing a conversation. It is wonderful to have you in the audience. Thank you. Somebody has accomplished stepping in here means a lot to me. Thank you. Sabrish says to know more about Bachelor and to learn more. Sabrish, I can see the Serato in you and you know what I'm talking about. Because you come with the experience of Bachelor, this is fantastic.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, right. I'm equally bubbling with Serato inside. So that's the space. Gagan says learning something new outside my domain. Got you, Gagan. Swapna says want to know more about Bachelor, and I know where you're coming from, Swapna, because we had a conversation today, and you saw that this could be the next step you could take for yourself. So
absolutely, yeah.
So glad you're stepping into this. Okay, ladies and gentlemen who have just joined this conversation, I'm inviting you to share what has drawn you to come here. Why have you come for the conversation today? This is the question, and if you could respond in the chat box, what attracted you? Why are you here today? So we're already hearing from some of you, want to know more about Bachelor. Smita says, I want to know more about Bachelor. And Smita, I'm so glad you're asking this because I know you've been through that experience before. And it's wonderful that you're stepping in right now. And Upasana says to learn positive communication. All with you, Upasana, you and I are a WhatsApp call away, so anytime. And Sachi says to understand how Bachelor therapy can help grow. Fabulous, got it. Manjini, Nitika, we just saw you join. Do you want to just add in to say what brought you here? Why are you here? Priyadarshini, Jagrati, do you want to share why are you here today? Some of you may have experienced Bachelor before. Some of you may have known of somebody using it. Or you're like, something about what Indranil wrote in that post got my attention. Or something about what you wrote in that post got my attention. So that could be your reason.
Honestly, Mira, I didn't really know the topic today. I had registered for this session, like, I think it got cancelled. And today, as soon as I got the notification, I've seen your videos or anything you do, you deliver a lot of value. So because it's Mira, I just wanted to be here to see what is it, what I need to learn something. Yeah.
That is such a sweetheart thing to say. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming, even if it's just for Mira. And I'm so grateful that this attracted you, and yet I am so committed that today become a session that leaves you thinking like never before.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Got it, Upasana. Thanks so much. You're just a sweetheart yourself. Jagrati says, I've had some experience with it. Want to expand on it. Thank you, Jagrati. You should do a high five with Sabarish. He's with us and he comes with the same experience. So that's great. Got it, Priyadarshini. Want to learn and grow in the personal as well as professional space. Love your commitment, Priyadarshini. Keep your eyes, ears open and extract the maximum from today's session. Awesome. So without any delay, guys, I'm going to jump into the conversation. We have enough participants to roll ourselves into something that's going to be a life-changing conversation. Before I invite Indranil in, allow me to share a bit. The whole context of us holding this interview is there is this magical power that is available in the environment that very few are aware of. And I'm being very cautious when I say this. It's not magic, it's magical. It gives you the experience of something you thought wasn't quite possible. And then you realize, oh, is it? And the purpose of the conversation is to have you open up to a whole new possibility that sometimes when we are a little logical mind driven, we may miss to see. Allow me to call upon my Yoda, who I also like to call Get a Fix, if anybody understands the Asterix druid called the Get a Fix, because he could brew potions together depending on what you were going through and give you some great powers. Not so much the physical power, but fantastic mental power and emotional power. He comes with great experience from the corporate. He's been there, done that in the IT. He's established his firm for training called iProdigy. He's gone on to become the transformational coach who has coached many the likes of CEOs, CXOs. But a very deep calling called inside and said that true transformation would be a combination of what happens through mental conversations as well as emotional conversations. And to enable the emotional conversations better, he invested himself in the science of batch flow therapy. What I like most about how Indranil speaks is he's able to speak to our logical mind to identify what our emotional mind may be missing to note. So without much delay, he's the one who's going to do more talking. I'm here just to extract the best out of him. Allow me to invite Indranil to all of us. Indranil, could you step in, please? Good to see you. Thank you for being with us.
Good evening, all of you. Mira, so grateful to you for bringing your community here and giving me an opportunity to share some messages. Before I move any forward, I thought I'll just check with you a couple of things. One is, there are times when I latch on to Hindi. Is there anybody who's uncomfortable with Hindi? Please raise your hand. Then I'll explain and translate it into Bengali, Urdu, Punjabi, or whatever language, but it'll be Indian language. For example, Upasana. Upasana, are you okay with Hindi or not?
I'm okay with Hindi. I love the fact that you are a polyglot.
Yeah, but international languages, I still haven't. I did learn German and French, but I'm very Hindustani at heart. Anyway, so once again, I personally want to thank, Mira has done a lot of Thanksgiving, but I personally want to thank from both our sides because we essentially, Mira is a multi-talented, Americans will say a multi-talented, okay, let me put it, multi-talented individual. But for me, she's a discovery. She's a discovery when she came to my class and she literally soaked in like a sponge. And today she's showing the effects of soaking in, not the information, but the nuances which many people do not get. Unquenchable thirst. And she called me Dumbledore and the institution as the Hogwarts School of Batch. And maybe that's where the magicality also comes from, right, Mira?
True, very true.
Yeah.
Yes.
So thank you so much. We are both messengers and we are worth no salt if we don't have you.
Absolutely.
And today's session and upcoming sessions, Please stay in touch with us. It will be all about messages,
Super.
right?
I said that better. So true. We wouldn't be
Yeah.
able to do what we're doing right now. if
Absolutely.
it wasn't with us.
And I'm so grateful to bring your community here. लग रहा है कि even I'm a part of this community now.
आप हो.
मैं हूँ. अच्छा चलो ठीक है.
शुरू करें?
बिल्कुल.
Some of you may have heard of this from me before, and allow me to say this again, because this is a beautiful set of lines written by a very renowned person. And these lines would set the context of what's coming up even more beautifully. So pay attention while I create this. If we can get the clutter out of our mind, if we can get the guilt out of our mind, if we can get the shame out of our mind, if we can get the worry out of our mind, if we can get the busyness out of our mind, then all of a sudden, we are going to have ideas which are seeds. And the seed of an idea gets planted firmly in your mind when you believe in yourself and you believe in your potential. These were lines spoken by Bishop T.D. Jakes. It's in one of the most favorite books of mine by Oprah. But the reason of setting this context is we lead a busy life and there's so much of busyness. Indranil, would you like to share, for the sake of our audience, bachelor therapy in a nutshell and how it could help transform lives?
Yeah, so it's very simple, Mira. I think though batch flower, the realm of batch flower, and I would endeavor not to use the word therapy and remedy, because today we have moved to a stage where we realize that you don't need to be ill, you don't need a therapy, you don't need a remedy to have batch flower essences, as much as you don't need to be ill to have sunshine or listen to music. Okay. So when I say sunshine and listen to music, I think you're getting a clue. The essence of batch flower essences and the practice that we, not we as in very few of us, because we have moved 3 steps beyond where the world is today, is all about dealing with vibrations. Those days, Einstein, after all his research, said at the end of the day, it's all about vibration. We are all vibrational beings. Recently, Tesla also echoed that, right? Now, bringing that to reality and being able to manipulate with human vibration, especially if it is negative vibration, is the role of this beautiful, magical 38 batch floral essences. Very simple. I have not come across something more simple, more safe, more sustainable, and at the same time, more powerful. I've been a hypnotherapist, I've been a psychotherapist, I've been a transformational coach. I actually stumbled upon the transformational impact of batch flowers way back in 2010 when I was a transformational coach. Guy who failed in his business, made a re-entry into his job, couldn't manage people because he had lost trust in people, eventually went on to manage a team of 500, generate a revenue of 12,000 crore, and become the national head of this large diversified group. Guy who was a techie who always believed people management is not my forte, right? I don't know how many of you can relate to what I'm talking about. Came to me. I've been approached by a US organization to manage the India Development Center. He had attended one of my leadership labs. So can you help me manage this? And in 6 months' time, he was not only managing the development center, but he was growing it. He had tremendous, on the one hand, anger issues, on the other hand, non-assertion. Both of them were dissolved. Guys, there's no chemical in it. There's no biochemical in it. Essences are often connected with oils. No oil. Tasteless, odorless, uh, colorless, only vibration preserved in alcohol. That's it. Have I answered your question, my dear cutie pie? Please show me your face. I love to have you attending our session. This is too good. Any questions? Just one sec.
Okay, I realized I was on mute, but I'm back here with you now. Indranee, thanks for sharing this awareness of batch flower with all of us. And while some participants are still rolling in, this is a conversation that I would like you to offer to us. In your experience of helping people through batch flower, and my focus right now is in the area of corporate professionals, though I know you have helped people in all aspects. If I talked of people who have walked the corporate life, could you tell me the top 3 concerns you saw people come with and you helped them be able to heal through?
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Mira. Thank you for queuing me in. And I think we straight and dive into the topic that we want to deal. So when you say top 3 concerns, I'm going to deal with 3 levels: the top, the middle, and the front line. Okay, so that will give you a representative. Top guy suffers with tremendous anxiety and depression, is on medication. By the way, you know that guy also, and came to me very early on. That time he was not my student. Later on, he became my student also. And he said, this is the situation. But the most difficult part is that I cannot show that anxious face. I cannot show that depressed face. I'm very lonely. I need you to heal me and get me to connect with my people. I'm also so lonely that I cannot connect with my own wife. So with him, there was a 2-pronged approach because I sensed there were 2 needs. One was he wanted to be heard. That's very important. He was lonely. He said that, right? So I became his bouncing board. Thanks to the 16 years of stint of working with corporate, another 16 years with 60 odd corporates as an interventionist and a coach, I could relate to his ethos, to his language, to what hurts him, to what brings him up. And he found a companion in me, a professional companion. The second was when I started healing him of that. 3 months down the line, he said, I'm off my anxiety drugs. My depression is at its lowest. But the best thing that has happened is today I'm not only mingling with people with my true face, not the plastic smile, but I've been offered a much better position, which is at the MD's office in my organization. And maybe I'll be taking up a P&L responsibility very soon. That is at a CXO level. CXO level, I think the challenges are very complex because the stress is multiplied due to the reason that they cannot show their stress. They cannot express their stress. They cannot let the world know that I'm stressed.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Middle management. Middle management.
Oh, Neil, before you jump to the second one, there's something I want to dig at.
Yeah.
I can see that this person came in a very vulnerable position to you. And
Yes.
it so happened that you were also coaching because you are a transformational coach and the person did walk in with an interest to be coached.
Right.
But I have
Actually, no, the person didn't walk in with interest to be coached.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I had started practicing batch flower.
Okay.
So he said that, is there anything that you can do to help me with this?
So you
And-
didn't coach much.
I know,
You-
I did.
you
I just,
presented batch flower.
I just held his hand and walked along with him. And once in a week, we'll meet up for 45 minutes to an hour and chat up, and I hold a mirror, help him to see
Got it.
what he can do with himself.
But for the interest of our audience, what, in your view, caused the biggest impact? Was it that you were accompanying him? Or was it that you were prescribing flower essences?
This is very difficult, Mira. How do I say that rabdi malai mein rabdi kate zyada aata hai ki malai ka se zyada aata hai? I would like to ascribe it still to the flower essences because I have done coaching without flower essences and coaching with flower essences. So I want to, and thank you again so much. And please understand that transformational coaching happens at an ontological level, at a being level, not at a behavioral level. So there is no behavioral change or modification or action planning. Having said that, imagine I'm coaching you. You are listening to me. I'm asking questions. You're answering those questions. Where is it happening? It is happening at this level. Yeah, maybe some of it may be going to this level. Rarely does it go to the level of what I call as our primordial intelligence, which is our awareness.
Okay.
The role of Bach essences is to remove that block which is there between us and our mind-made reality of who I am and who I truly am, that embodiment of awareness. And suddenly I become more aware. What Mira read out at the right at the beginning is so apt. When I take that out, but it is not easy to take it out. And that's where I'm saying with transformational coaching, it's a lot of effort both ways. It's a lot of rigor both ways. And then maybe I may be able to dissolve some of my shadows. I think the best thing that people can do is to integrate their shadows. But with bachelor essences, they're completely dissolved, as Dr. Bach used to say, like snowflakes in sunshine. And if there is no barrier between Laila and Majnu, between the lover and beloved, they are one.
Yeah. It's like how Dr. Edward Bach said, the person who is the inventor of bachelor essences, that the intention is that when somebody consumes these essences, they be connected to their higher self.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're just removing the unnecessary layers that don't belong to you.
Yeah.
And have you go there. Wow.
And it happens so simply and so subtly, Mira. Today I was doing a review with somebody on a different program. She is healing some of her chronic ailments with Bach. And she said, you know what? Besides all the other emotional challenges having gone, I find myself more aware. I can see more, I can hear more, I can intuit more, I can ideate more, like what you talked about.
Yeah.
And it was so heartening, and I felt so blessed to have the blessing of these floral essences.
Yeah. She came for something, but she's getting so much more.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Do you want to take us to the mid-level case now?
Yeah, mid-level. So mid-level, they were not one, but quite a few of them. So it's again an India service provider, and they are servicing their clients in US. They have business area managers, and they had tremendous communication issues. Mira, this is your topic. But the communication issue was not the communication skill bit. They had communication issues, because very interesting, and again, you will relate to it. They will take on whatever is dumped on them. They cannot say no. That's number one.
Yep.
Number two, when they cannot meet the deadline, they will not confirm well in advance that I'm going to miss the deadline. And number three, when they get the flack from their customers, they resent and feel guilty about it. As a result of which, the entire thing is sucking them down. I was called by the CEO, and he said, can you help them to move forward? it wasn't very difficult. It wasn't very difficult. Yeah, it was again combined with transformation coaching and batch flower, but they came out with flying colors. They expanded their business. They upsold into their client accounts. And then I think they got bought over by one of their clients. They're happy to have been bought over.
Indranil, I'm going to come in here.
Yeah.
I relate to the inability to say no, the anxiety that takes over for an impending deadline, how life just comes to a stop when something big is approaching and you just can't seem to get yourself together to do it. Could you take us through one of your character stories of Mr. Watson, who was before like this, and then this is the dialogue they had with their someone?
Yeah, the first Mr. Watson itself that I talked about, he was
Yes.
a salesperson,
Yes.
but salespeople also have deadlines and targets, and stringent deadlines and targets. And I still remember that before the review meeting in the evening, he will call me and say, give me something.
Druid, get a fix, help me.
And I used to prescribe him something for maybe that evening itself. And then he'll come back. I came out with flying colors. I presented my numbers. I was shocked by this percentage, but there was no objection.
Wow.
So what is he doing? He's also managing perception. That is,
Yes.
perception management is a big, big thing. And I can manage perception when as Mira so wonderfully said, that I'm not under the clutches of my own fear and anxiety. Please understand the entire rigmarole of all the issues, and I call them efficiency or productivity issues, is hinged around fear. Like the Watson that I'm talking about, or the Watsons that we know very often, fear of disapproval. What happens on top of that? I build a limiting belief that only by seeking approval and making the other person happy will I be able to live and survive and be happy, right? Very soon, I realized that I have become almost a slave to that person. And I start getting exploited. I become angry. And in my anger, I might do something which I later on repent and feel guilty.
Right.
So this is a complete path. I am sharing this because it seems very simple, 38 remedies. If I have non-assertion, if I cannot say no, there's a remedy for that. I'm relative.
Okay. Indranil, we lost you. I lost you for some 5 seconds. Maybe it was my internet. Could you just repeat the part about those predictable set of emotions that come in?
Yeah. So slave-minded. So I am exploited. Obviously, it dawns on me, come on, what is this? This person is exploiting me. I forget the fact that it all started with me not learning to assert. I did not learn that. So I came to a compensatory behavior where I wanted to show that I am tough. I can also push back. But that was aggression. And that led me to a state which I did not like. And I felt like repenting. And that's what happened to Watson. Now, why I'm saying this story? Because this cycle is just a representative of one particular personality trait of that person who comes with a limiting belief that to be able to seek or be approved by others, I need to make them happy.
Yeah.
There's so many different personality traits.
Which we usually refer to as people pleasers.
These are people.
And
Absolutely.
placaters.
Placaters, right.
Right.
Absolutely.
And I come from experience that I have so often been in that space. I can sometimes still trickle to that space, but I know that I'm slowly healing through bachelor therapy.
Yes.
So
And it is a sure but a slow process. I don't want to give you any false hopes. There are many therapists who do that. To be able to heal your personality, it will take minimum 2 to 2.5 years. if you're looking for transformation, when I started my unofficial practice sometime around 2012, 2014, I was a bundle of anxiety myself. Today, when I look back, I can't see myself. I don't relate to that me. I'm completely a different self. So 10 years, and I'm still, it's a work in progress. We all know there is no end to it. So if you're looking at healing, which is an intermediate stage in practicing Bach flower essences, it can happen within a given period of time, maybe 3 months, 6 months. Actually, you start feeling the healing effect in the first week itself. But for it to set down, you need to give it some 3 to 6 months time.
Right.
But if you're looking at transformation,
Yes.
my mantra is make Bach flower a way of life.
Yeah.
And you can, because you have made the sunshine a way of life, water a way of life, music your way of life, so many other beautiful things in nature a way of life. So why not Bach flower?
Indranil, I'd like to share something here. Of course, I've learned from you and also experienced while I have been helping some heal through Bach flower therapy. It was wonderful to see how Bach flower immediately first works to, I mean, a beautiful line of practice is to have a therapist at first address any sense of fear or fear that the person hasn't even acknowledged themselves, but a sense of fear that's looming in the background that unknowingly is not allowing them to express themselves to the full.
Mira, can I stop you, interrupt? You brought up such a beautiful point. Fear that they have not acknowledged to themselves. Trust me, 80% of people, either they don't know that they are scared, or they know, but they don't acknowledge that they are scared. So wonderfully said. And a true therapist gets to that level of diagnosis because, as I said, it all starts with fear. That's the bedrock. Where that fear is identified, the specific fear is identified, and that is healed, without which healing is not complete.
Let's make this even more effective for our audience. Indranil, let's call out the thoughts that we can now equate to fear. For instance, I'm fearful of being lonely.
Okay, quickly.
Yes.
Fear of abandonment.
Fear of abandonment. Awesome. Yes.
Fear of trusting others.
So true.
Fear of being outcompeted. You might be able to relate to this, many of you.
Yeah.
Fear of insecurity. How wonderful.
Got it, Sabrish.
Fear of exposure.
Fear of exposure. Wow.
My God.
Yeah.
Fear of being not heard, of not being listened to. So, if any of you would like to come along with me and go through the journey and deep dive into the ocean of knowing what it takes to heal with Bach flowers, you will see that we personally believe in there are 12 such fear-led beliefs represented by 12 such personality types. That's where the learning or not being able to learn journey starts. And we heal from the other way around, take the person from the most acute state of emotional challenge and take him back to that state where right at the beginning he or she should have learned and help the learning to happen. Bach flower therapy is all about learning what I did not when I had to.
Wonderful. Wonderful. When I speak with people to invite them to consider Bach flower, something that I speak with so much assurance is when you commit yourself to this therapy, or not the therapy, but these essences and the transformation that's possible. But if you're willing to commit yourself at least 6 months, you would be able to see a significant shift where some old patterns would not re-arrive. I know you're taking them for a 2.5-year journey, and I know why you're taking them there. for the benefit of our audience, I'd like to share that bachelor therapy is something that's invited, that stay with it for a minimum of 6 months to really break some old patterns.
I will say 1
But
year,
something really
Mira.
powerful. Hear it from the master.
Yeah.
Right, right. But what I also
Okay,
want
can I interrupt you? Upasana had a question.
yes.
So Upasana, there is no substitute of bachelor therapy. If you don't have the remedies, they are very simply available. Please get them. I have dabbled with many therapies, but the reason I'm saying, and there is a reason for everything. I believe in science. I believe in logic, and there's a reason. There's a logic. There's a science behind the magicality. The quantum science has established what sage Patanjali had propounded 5,000 years back, that we exist beyond our physical body in 4 more vibrational bodies: the vital body, the mental body, the supramental body, and the bliss body. Okay. There are, known to me, there are 2 modalities which work at the supramental body besides bachelor. Very few work at the supramental. Supramental is the wisdom body where my witness is awakened, right? It's I am the one who is doing, and I am also the one who knows that I am doing. So that also the one is awakened at the supramental level. Hypnotherapy is one of them, but it's very risky. If you are not with the right hypnotherapist, I have had patients where I had to undo the ill effects of hypnotherapy. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to bandy it. Is every therapy is good. It all depends upon how one is practicing the therapy. Psychotherapy to some extent, but it's very painful, both for the therapist as well as for the client. So my recommendation is, don't look for a substitute. There can't be anything more simple and at the same time so sure. I might be coming from my passionate, vervain, Mira will say. No, but I have also realized, having practiced so many different modalities, that this is my holy grail. So invite you to that holy grail, please.
Right.
Don't look for anything else. It's a waste of time, energy, and money, by the way. It's one of the most cost-effective means of healing yourself permanently.
Right. I see Upasana put up her hand. Upasana, I want to invite you for questions, but could I take the next few minutes to get this last story out from Indranil, where he talks about somebody at a relatively start-off level? Indranil, do you want to share the person at a start-off level and their experience with bachelor?
So there is Watson and another Watson 1 and Watson 2. So they were starting up a very ambitious venture, wanted to become a unicorn. And they met me. They came over. We met. They were in Delhi and we were in Bangalore. So we decided that we'll meet in Varanasi. They also wanted to do some pilgrimage. So, yeah. Mira, sorry, I am not getting you.
Journey together.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the first thing that I did, I carried a kit of bachelor remedies with them, and they were there for 3-4 days. And for 3-4 days, I listened to them. I made remedies and gave it to them for them to experience. Jisko chakna bolte hain. And then they themselves said, "Ye to kamal ka hai. Ab kya karna hai?" So what was the challenge? The main issue was, while I am going gung-ho as an entrepreneur deep inside, I have 2 issues with me: is a doubt whether I will be successful or not. The fear of failure at the root. And there was another issue is, can I become a unicorn? Do I deserve it?
मुझ में ऐसा क्या है?
मुझमें ऐसा क्या है? Am I good enough? So now this was at the root. You can imagine what kind of emotions and behaviors, therefore they were coming out. They were very, they would like to pump in a lot of energy, but they were half-hearted. It was not going through. Investors were coming and going away. Angel investment happened, second round also happened, and then they got blocked. They went back to bootstrapping. And this is not a success story. This is a failure story because they left Bachelor midway. And they left their startup also midway. And they went back and took a job because the fear of failure was too immense, and they did not allow that much of time for it to heal. So I'm truth be told, the name of this program is Truth Be Told. I will not give you anything which is not true. If you're committed, it's on. If you're not committed, please don't even step in. You will break our hearts, Mira and my heart. We only look for committed people.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Indranil. I'm sure that shed a lot of light on what we wanted to disclose in our conversation today. It's beautifully come out. The questions were never there, but you just brought it out. Thank you so much. Let's take on questions from the audience. I'm just going to call Upasna. Upasna, do you want to ask your question right now or share what's on your mind?
Right. My question, I think it didn't come out clearly. My question was that what do you complement? I was not looking for a substitute.
Awesome. You can
complement this with.
Thank you so much, Upasna. When we are healing people of chronic ailments, typically lifestyle diseases, we are complementing with a dietary consultation. When we are healing people of their relationship challenges, we complement with counseling and transformational coaching.
Right.
When we are healing people of their professional issues, then it is transformational coaching and bachelor therapy.
Yeah.
I have personally experienced these, but there are many. Okay, one wonderful thing that I have experienced myself as a client, they work like, hand in glove. Homeopathy and bachelor therapy. Homeopathy works on the physical body, bachelor on the mental and emotional body. They work wonders, especially if you are trying to heal, a very, very obstinate chronic ailment. Just don't go with homeopathy, bring in bachelor, or just don't go with bachelor, bring in homeopathy. But it is fallacious to try and heal anxiety with homeopathy. Or similarly, try and heal, should I say, eczema. There are fantastic healing properties in homeopathic medicine to heal eczema. So just some examples.
Yeah, but I mean, sure, Mira, go ahead first.
In my experience, what complements beautifully, or shall I say, one enables the other, is when you do bachelor therapy and meditation. It's one feeds the other so well that journey is something then you don't get off it. I noticed that bachelor therapy also helps you create this beautiful bond with any habit that you consciously want to develop. So meditation could be that habit. Journaling could be that habit. But wherever you're looking for some form of reflection, they complement beautifully. Yeah. Back to you, Upasna.
Right. So when I said, when you don't have like access in the long term, so you stay with the therapy for 2 years, you feel that you've healed. And then, like you mentioned in your last story, right? I typed my question even before you brought up the last story. And that was my question. So I know you're saying that, it's make it a way of your life. But as human tendency is that once we feel, things are in control and all, do I need to still continue with it? And we do drop the ball. I mean, there would be very few who are able to continue, and, hats off to them. But I personally know myself that even when I'm not fully healed, I do drop the ball even with prescription medicines.
Yeah. So
I'm scared of taking antibiotics because of that.
I'll interrupt you. So it's very clear you're coming with a medicine mindset. See, we are evangelists. The first thing that we do is try to help you get out of medicine mindset. You're not taking a medicine. Now imagine if you're not taking a medicine. How will your perspective to the entire practice change? When you're thirsty, you drink water. When you're hungry, you eat food. It doesn't mean that you have eaten it and you'll not eat again, right? Or you have drank water, you'll not drink again. So
Yes.
it is not your mistake. We have all been conditioned to have grown up in a medicine mindset. And anything, so I don't even use the word remedy now, therefore. Floral essences, no therapy, floral alchemy. Why unnecessarily complicate the issue? Do you think I have any serious problem? No. Why do you think every morning I have my own little, you see this? This has remedy in it. Because I'm aspiring to transform. Do you aspire to transform? Do you aspire to spread your wings and fly like a butterfly? Then go for it.
Yes, I do. But I
Otherwise, it is not a fix. Please understand.
correct.
Yeah, and I'm also bringing in certain myths because it's very unfortunate that wrong kind of practice and practitioners have made a belief that batch flower can be used as a fix. No, it's never, it's according to me, that's sacrilege. No one should do that. But if you're committed to go through a transformational journey, this is the path. I invite you onto it.
May I add on to what you just said, Indranil?
Please.
This is something I have learned from Indranil myself. It is powerful when you can find somebody who doesn't just show you the path, but helps you walk the path. And Upasana, that's also one of the missions that Indranil and I have taken on, is to bring more batch flower alchemists on this planet and allow this to be available to so many more. Not everybody would study batch flower, but can we have more and more such alchemists be available who can easily help people get the right prescription? And we'll also walk with them, because the intention is to keep it client-centric.
Awesome.
To be able to see that the
Yes.
client is having this challenge, how can I make this so much more easier for them
Correct.
to stay with than give up? Just like a dietitian would make sure you need to stick to your diet. Right?
Just to give you a little example of client centrism. So yesterday I was just thinking, can you think of a therapist who calls his client on a particular day and say, hey, today you have a review with me? So a lot of mindset change is required, not only at your level, but at our level also. So we have a set of operating principles. We live by a certain set of value-driven behaviors. We are not fly-by-night, people who have just brought some essences and delivering it. I call it Babaji.
No, absolutely not. Mira and I go way, way back. So I'm sure wherever she flies, I will catch her. It's not about that, but it is more of my personal challenge wherein I have struggled with being consistent in building any good habit. So like your question, right? Do you want to transform or not? The answer has always been yes, but I've failed at, getting that consistency. And I've had the fortune of having some, good trainers, but eventually they gave up. And a lot of it is, attributed to my own anxiety, my own insecurities and the fears as you brought about. So definitely, it rings a bell. And because I don't want to just blindly embark on something, I trust Mira blindly. So I can embark on something, but I also want to make it work and have that a success story. And that's where my questions are coming from.
So just to supplement what you're saying, I've been a behavioral scientist for many years, and I took on behavioral intervention. I was never a trainer. I was a learning facilitator for a very long time. One of the reasons I took on batch flower therapy was that it is easy and simple. Change can be brought in through training, through coaching, through interventions. But to be able to sustain the change is not easy. So let's say you're a trainer and you or coach and you are there for a limited period of time, right? What happens thereafter? How does one ensure that you sustain that change? Is it inside out? That's the first question. Now, when I'm bringing in transformational coaching, which is ontological, it is inside out, so it is more sustainable. Yet that person, as Mira rightly said, has to be in a state of expanded awareness to be able to see that the blocks, the shadows are coming. So there is a lot of responsibility on you, Upasana, when there's a trainer or a coach who is trying to work with you to move along a transformational journey. Bash Flower takes that completely away. 4 times a day, every 3 hours, just take it and forget about everything. That's it. Period. And it's proven. Yeah, but you might need to do some pre-work before you join a program, because I also see there is some tension maybe which you need to take care of.
Indranil, we have a question
Hmm.
from Manjini, and she asks a very good question because you may not know. So
Mhm.
she says, how do you know that one needs healing? And I think
Yeah.
she thinks it's directed
Yeah,
to
so I was actually trying to show this. Am I allowed to share my screen?
absolutely. Please tell me.
Manjari, thank you so much for leading me to this. This is one of my most favorite questions. I'll just want you to read this few paragraphs on floral alchemy,
Sure. Anand.
and you will get an answer yourself. I've said this many times. People have heard this many times.
Indranil, is there anything one particular that I could read from here? Would you like me to read the font on the left? This phenomenon.
The phenomenon completely redefines and enhances the scope of an expectation of this modality. It's not a new thing, just need to see the process with new eyes. Now comes answer to what you wanted to know. The root of the word heal, health, holy, and whole is the same. So, my dear, what is the journey? At the end of the day, we are all journeying to come back to the wholeness where we started from. So, is there anyone who can say that I don't need healing? As an individual begins to heal, he or she regains health, not just mental, but emotional and physical too. Shadows start dissolving, which over a period of time makes him, her more holy. Eventually, with the journey being sustained, the individual returns back to being a whole being. I hope I have answered your question. And this is one of my most, the one on the left column is from somebody who I respect a lot because of him being very authentic and forthright. So you can read it for yourself. That's from Osho. The will to wholeness is inherent in everything. This is the answer to your question. So will to wholeness means the will to get healed also. But only in man has it become conscious. Therefore, man lives in tension. And only when this longing is fulfilled is his negative state of tension wiped out. The tension is symbolic of the infinite potentials and also of the infinite possibilities. Man is not what he can be, and unless he is that which he can be, he cannot be at ease. This is man. Health is wholeness. The fact that language has one root for the whole word, that's what is written over here. Holy and to heal conceals a deep truth. He who is whole is also healed, and to be healed is to be whole. This wholeness can only be achieved by becoming totally conscious of oneself. The darkness of the unconscious is to be penetrated and transformed into light, and the simplest way is to switch on the light with the help of that fluorescences.
Thank you for this, Indranil.
Welcome.
I realize it's 7:03. Some of us have had to leave. They were messaging in the box that they had to exit. I'd like to quickly share with you For those of you interested to know more about Bachelor, to see how it could be of value for you in any way, whether you want to choose to experience it or you want to choose to become a practitioner, the options are available. You want to fill the form that I just posted in the chat box, and it gives you another step ahead to know more about
Hey, that's so wonderful, Janmeja. Good to hear that.
Indranil, thank you so much for here with us. Transform. Thank you.
It's my pleasure to have all of you, and thank you, Mira, for having anchored this so wonderfully. Had it not been for you, it wouldn't have come out so wonderfully.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And thank you so much to our audience. So grateful to each one of you for showing up, for asking your questions, for letting us hold the space together. Because when each one of you plays that role of sitting in the audience, can Indranil and I have a conversation? Thank you for being here. We'd love to stay connected, and we'll see you again.
And just keep in touch with us, because this is a monthly event, and every month you have an episode. So Mira and me will keep you in touch. There's a WhatsApp group Mira might share with you at a later point in time. You can.
We'll share it in the email with them.
Yeah, you can sign up for that, and you'll be posted of when are
Right.
these events coming up.
Yes. Thank you. Pleasure, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.